Fears in the rear view, right now on the mission. Trying to stay the course on this road to redemption. Giving up seems tempting, but no need. Cause I got you and you got me. A little UNITY will get us by. Through the storm and the rain, I'll be by your side. Look alive, the best has yet to come. Just some words of wisdom, plenty more. I know you've been looking for a breakthrough. Trying our best to make do. Every day is something new, but change gon' come, oh yes, it's true.
Welcome to Redeemed and Restored Podcast. I'm your host, Mike Noland, and with me today, I am so excited. I got my friend Jasin on the show. Say what's up to everybody, Jasin.
Hello.
All right, man. I'm stoked about having him on here. I met Jasin, 2018-ish. When I was going through the Salvation Army. He went through the program at the same time as me. The difference between him and me is that I have epically lit my life on fire at least 2 to 3 times since that program before I finally found freedom. But he has stayed clean and sober that entire time, which is fantastic. We've stayed connected, and I just see that he's stayed connected to that entire program there, which is awesome. So I'm going to have him open up with just sharing a little bit of information about where he's at today, and then we'll hop into his story. And I know you guys are going to be blessed by this. So go ahead, Jasin, just introduce yourself, man, and tell everybody where you're
Jasin
at.
Pillow. Thank you, Mike, for having me. It's been a long time coming. I appreciate you having me on.
Yeah, for sure, man. Stoked that you're here.
Currently, I was able to get my job back after losing it in 2018, and it was a long road getting back. It took several years. Obviously, I had to complete the Salvation Army program first. That was one of the determining factors of me gaining my employment back. And in that time, I've my fiance stayed with me, so we are engaged. Hopefully, getting married soon. And
Thank
then
God
2
for
years
that.
ago, we bought a house, and
Sweet.
we're blessed to have this house in the economy that we're living in currently. So we're super
Yep.
stoked about that.
Yeah. Cool, man. So that's great. I mean, you've kept, I know, dialed in with the Salvation Army program. I've seen that, and that's really cool to have an awesome woman that sticks by you through that whole thing. I remember seeing her coming to visit you
Right.
all the time, man. And at that time in my life, nobody was coming to visit me. I was like, I had messed up so bad.
Yeah.
My kids did towards the end, right? But my marriage was on the fritz, and I remember seeing that. I'm like, man, that's cool to have somebody that you probably hurt if you did what I did in my addiction. You typically hurt the people that you care about, and since then, I've had somebody stick by me through some ups and downs, and really show me like real forgiveness and true grace and true mercy that I've never experienced in my life. So it was
She's
really cool to see
definitely a
that.
gift, brother, because having someone to have,
Yeah.
put a hand back and help pull me out was the one thing that I needed.
Yeah. And it's this last time when I was going through a program, but I had somebody sticking by me and writing me letters and actually taking my phone calls and visiting and all this stuff. It just gave me the motivation to keep going. In addition to the internal motivation, when you have people that love you and support you, man,
It's paramount.
oh man, it's huge. So that's awesome, man. Well, cool. I'm I I'm inspired by stories like yours, people that I met and went through programs with, and they say it takes what it takes for everybody. For me, it took more than once. But when I see people that have stuck with it, that I've stayed connected with, it gives me hope that I can stick with it and continue to move forward and see God continue to bless my life and the people that are in it. So, man, I appreciate you a bunch because you've inspired me just watching you even from a distance,
Thank you.
dude's still going strong, man. So if he can do it, right? Yeah, that's how God works, man. He's no respecter of persons. If he can do it for you, he can do it for me. And if he can do it for me, he can do it for anybody
Yeah, amen.
out there. So cool, man. Let's jump into, we like to share in a little bit more detail people's stories on this show because it's an opportunity for people to really see how bad addiction can get, see how far it can go, and see what a miracle it is when God finally rescues us, when we finally get surrounded by the right people and in the right programs and at the right churches, whatever it is. So maybe just share what childhood was like, growing up. Was God in the home? Was it something that was, part of your family growing up? And
Right.
when did you grab alcohol for the first time or drugs like me?
Yeah, right.
Was it young? And when did you kind of realize that you started to have a problem? What did that look like?
Well, we grew up on military bases. My dad was a Marine, so
Okay.
I can remember the first so many years we were living in Okinawa, Japan, and then we moved to Camp Pendleton, and then probably around 6 years old we moved up to Washington State, and from then
Okay.
on I lived there till I graduated high school. And I would say that the first time I had an experience with alcohol was probably in high school, where we'd go to the local convenience store and steal the beer, throw it out the back door, and take some Mad Dog 2020 with it.
Oh,
I
gosh.
know.
I remember that stuff, man. That
So,
stuff was
you're
brutal.
filling your pockets with all the stuff that we're stealing. And obviously it wasn't good, but we were trying to get after it. So that was
Yep.
probably my first experience with illegal alcohol. Obviously, growing up with my grandparents and great grandparents, my great grandpa made his own wine. So whenever
Okay.
we'd have family dinners, grandpa's like, here you go, taste this.
It's
So,
a family affair at that
right.
point. Yeah. Yep.
And then religious wise, we grew up Catholic. So we went to church every Sunday. And, obviously I believed in God and Jesus. I don't know that my faith was strong because it was forced down my throat. So it was one of those things where I
Right.
didn't choose it. It was forced upon me. So that made it kind of challenging. And then after high school, obviously I decided not to continue with Catholicism because
Hmm.
it didn't fit with me. And I didn't
Okay.
like all the rules, and I don't like people telling me what to do. And they were so stringent and strict. I just didn't, I wasn't having a part of it. And then there was several years where I didn't go to church anywhere. And I moved down to San Diego, became a bartender down there at a nightclub.
Oh,
And that was
man.
the most
I
fun
love
job I've
San
ever had in my
Diego.
life.
I love San Diego,
The
man.
most fun.
Seriously, my
Right.
favorite city in the United States.
Yeah.
Yep.
So while I was
Wow.
working
All
down
right.
there, I one night was working and had to use the restroom, which was upstairs. So on my way back down, there was a person behind me shoving me from the
Mhm.
back. So I
Okay.
turn around and I use some colorful adjectives, and he decides to hit me in the head with a glass beer bottle, which knocks me out and rolls me down the stairs. So
Oof.
when I get
That's
to the
rough.
bottom of the stairs, yeah, he's mounted me and stabs me all over.
Oh, man.
So I,
Dang.
yeah, that kind of ended my bartending career in San Diego.
No kidding.
I tried to stay down there for as long as I could, but ultimately I had to move home with my parents, which was challenging.
Yeah.
Then I get a job at Costco, worked there for several years, and in that time I have a girlfriend that we would party a lot, alcohol wise,
Hmm.
and then we'd go to these after parties, and every time we'd go to these after parties, everybody's doing coke. So I never did it because I had never, up to this point, I had never done drugs.
How old are you?
20 something, 22 or three, maybe four, I don't
Man,
know.
good for you. You got
Right.
me beat by like 10 years.
Yeah. So,
Yeah.
alcohol only, not that that's a good thing, but still, I
Right.
had never done drugs. And I
That's impressive.
remember vividly one night, I'm looking around. I've been to several of these after parties, and it looks like everybody's having a great time. So they're like, "Hey, do you want to try some?" Okay.
Hmm.
So I literally started with Coke.
Mm.
Yeah.
That's an interesting introduction.
Right.
I've talked to some other people that's the same thing. Somebody told me, yeah, the first drug I tried was crack, and I'm like, man, that was your opener?
Yeah.
Wow. And yeah, I did coke at a really young age. It wasn't the first drug that I did though, so that had to be an interesting deal. So what happened? What happened
Well,
after that?
uh, at that point, I instantly knew I was in love.
Yep, that's how it was with
Absolutely.
cocaine for me too. It was
Yeah.
my drug of choice as soon as I tried it. Yep.
Right. And I tried to manage it probably for a couple years. Right. So
Hmm.
it started off with we would only do it on special occasions,
Okay.
whether it be a holiday or the 4th of July or whatever. And then
Yeah.
that eventually morphed into weekends, and then
Yeah.
weekends and Mondays, then
And now
weekends
it
and Friday and whatever, then it was every day and it was out of control.
and now you're like every day that ends in Y is now
Yes.
dubbed a
Right.
holiday,
Right.
right? Yep.
Yep.
365 days a year.
Yeah.
That's how it works, man. It sucks.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then,
It gets you. It
yeah,
gets you.
it was brutal. It had me, and I was spending all my money on it, not paying my bills. I lost all responsibility and sense of
Yep.
direction, and it
Yep.
was horrible. I hated it. I absolutely hated it. The fun wore off years ago, and it became a necessity. So I remember one night I come home from work. I was working two jobs, and my girlfriend at the time said that we needed to have an honest conversation.
Uh-huh.
So at that time, I didn't know what that meant. I'm like, I thought we were always honest.
Yeah.
And she proceeds to tell me that she'd been cheating on me with several of the people that we did these after parties with.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Yeah.
That's nice news. You're like, thanks
Right.
for that one.
So that
All
was a
right.
tough pill to swallow. Obviously,
Phew.
with my mind being pickled,
Yeah.
I instantly went to, I don't want to live anymore.
Mm.
So
Yep.
I had uh, a sizable amount of cocaine, and I was lying to my doctor at the time. So I was prescribed sleeping pills, and I decided to take all 300 sleeping pills, snort all the cocaine, and then I got in the shower and I loaded my gun and I put the shower
Wow.
head on. I sat under the shower and I put the gun in my mouth and I pulled the trigger and it didn't go off. And then I woke up, I don't know, a couple of weeks later in the hospital, hooked up to machines with a ventilator.
You took 300 sleeping pills?
Oh yeah,
What?
I wanted a backup plan because if the coke wasn't going to kill me, then I wanted the sleeping pills to kill me, and if the sleeping pills didn't kill me, the bullet
Yeah,
for
like
sure
the
would.
gun.
So I,
Man.
had it A, B, and C, D plans covered, and then none of them worked. So I failed at
Man.
that too. I felt like a failure again.
Oh, dude.
Right.
That's when you know God's got a hand in your life, man. I mean,
Yeah.
obviously, hindsight's 2020, and I can look back at so many times where I thought, like, what the heck? Everything's falling apart, and I realized God was putting it back together. But there were so many times where I should not be alive, and I am. And, to be able to pull the trigger on a gun that's loaded, and you're a Marine, right? Are
My dad
you,
was. My dad,
your
brother
dad was
Marines.
a Marine,
Right.
so you knew how to use a weapon. I
Right.
would assume, right? You
Yeah.
knew how
We
to
shoot
load a
all the
gun
time.
and properly use it.
Right.
And the fact that it just wouldn't go off. And then 300 sleeping pills, bro.
Yeah.
I took like 10 Xanax once or something and was like out and ended up in the hospital, just 10 of them. And I couldn't even imagine what 300 sleeping pills would do. All right. Well, so I'm sorry, I didn't mean to jump in and interject, but that's crazy. So you ended up in the hospital a couple weeks later. I'll let
Right.
you pick up
So
there.
while in the hospital, I had the most spiritual experience I've ever had in my entire life.
Okay.
Obviously, I didn't know that I was incoherent and in a coma. I
Okay.
thought it was a weird, surreal situation. And every night while I was in the hospital, I had this male nurse come to me and he would
Mm,
tell me about his life and his family and his wife and his kids. And then he would read
okay.
me the Bible. So
Okay.
it was just like a nightly thing where this male nurse would come in and do it. Well, on the day that I woke up, because obviously this is not happening in real life, right? On the day that I woke up, there's a Bible verse on a sticky note on my food tray,
Yeah.
and it was Romans 15:13. And I can't remember it off the top of my head, but that was the
Uh-huh.
verse that he had written down.
Okay.
So when I woke up, I asked where, I can't remember his name, but let's just say it's Eric. So I said, "Hey, where's Eric?" And they searched around. There's no Eric that worked at the hospital
Yeah.
on nights. So I believe
Huh.
in my heart that that was my guardian angel coming to
Wow.
prophesy to me. And he was also the one that put his finger in the end of the gun to stop the bullet. That's my belief.
Hey, man. Uh, with what you just told me about what you did to try to end your life, I've seen so many crazy things, man, in my own life that I would believe it, and that's pretty incredible, man. So you're in a coma from what you did, and then somebody's coming and reading to you every single night, and then you wake up and there's a Bible verse
Yes.
right there sitting in Romans 15:13. That's pretty cool, man. Okay, so you have that spiritual experience.
Right.
What happens after that? You obviously probably spent a little bit of time in the hospital once
Spent
you
some time in the
came
hospital.
came to. How
Right.
long were you in the coma for?
I think it was 32 days.
Oh, dang.
I think it was about
Okay.
that much time. And then I woke up, and obviously I was charged for trying to commit suicide, had to do some court appearances for that, which
Okay.
turned,
I didn't. That ends up being a charge when you try to commit suicide. I didn't know that.
they sent me mandatorily to Fairfax in Bellevue, which was a mental
Right. I remember that place.
hospital.
Yep. All right.
And I spent some time there. I can't remember because it was, in 2006,
Yeah.
and then had to deal with
Huh.
the court charges and tell them that I'm not, you know, suicidal anymore, and
Okay.
convince them that I was not. And
Okay.
then from there, I had to go to treatment. And then after treatment, I got another year clean. And
Okay.
then from that point on, I love motorcycles. So I ride motorcycles all the time. So
Okay.
I had a motorcycle, and I had gone on a motorcycle trip with my dad. We were up on Mount
Yeah.
Rainier, and I crashed my bike at 120 miles an hour
Well,
on
dang.
top of the mountain. So I separated my shoulder, broke some ribs,
Yeah.
cracked my hip, and cracked my knee.
Dang, that's an accident.
Right. So that was
How
pretty,
long was this after the coma? So the coma,
maybe a
you
year.
get out a year? Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
And at that point, the doctor prescribes me Percocets
Uh,
because I have all
thanks,
this
doc.
injuries.
Yep.
Right.
Right. Yep.
And obviously, I try to convince the doctor that I need more, and my prescription levels go up, and I get more pills and more pills and more pills, and that lasts several years until uh, he finally caught me not doing pills.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, because you got to take a UA to continue your pain
Oh,
management
okay.
regimen.
So what were you doing in addition to the pills? Were you doing
But whenever I
heroin or
ran
something?
out, someone's like, "Do you want this?"
Yeah.
And then that turned into OxyContin.
Yeah. Oof. Yeah,
So
that stuff's brutal.
right,
So you had stuff in your system that shouldn't have been in your system.
right.
So
That
the
wasn't
doctor's like,
Percocet. It
yeah,
was OCs.
yeah.
Yeah,
And those things are gangster, man.
yep.
Those are no joke. Yep.
And
All
that turned
right.
into my second love.
Yep. Okay. So cocaine and opiates, huh? We sound like kindred spirits, man.
We're yeah,
Oh, dude, this last run, after the Salvation Army, I met a girl, and she was the wrong one, dude. And I'd never done drugs intravenously before, never touched heroin. Those are like the two things I could say I hadn't done. She had those proclivities, and at a certain moment, I decided to go that route, and all of a sudden, man, speedballs became like my love, the
yep,
heroin cocaine combo.
right.
And it literally should have killed me, almost killed me, and started the worst 2-year drug stint of my entire life, man. But okay, and it sucked. But those two things, man, they had me pretty good, especially when you start using them through a needle, man. It's crazy. But oxys, man, those were those are crazy too. So how did that keep going on that, man?
Yeah,
What
so
did that end up looking like? I can guess,
right,
but
yeah.
yeah, it
So
all went
I
great, man. I've just been great since. I got a job. I've bought a house.
yeah,
Yeah,
right.
right.
Yeah.
Yeah,
The OC addiction eventually gets out of control, and I revert back to the not paying bills, not having responsibilities, and
yep.
the job that I have currently, I had then, and
Okay.
I would say cautiously that it's not tolerated, but it's kind of like accepted that people in the industry that I work do either use or drink.
Okay.
And you wouldn't necessarily want to rat out your union brother or sister.
Yep. I got it. That that makes sense. And it's like as long as you keep it together enough, no problems, right?
As long
And
as you
and
don't get in
nobody's
an
gonna
accident.
right.
So if you
Yep.
have an accident, then you're sent for a drug test. Outside of that, it's usually only when there's movement to a higher level of uh, classification within the union.
Yeah, that checks out. Yep.
So obviously, I was able to keep using, and we are paid generously. And 90, probably 8% of my pay was going to my drug addiction at that time.
Man, that's a lot of drugs.
Yeah, it was
Yeah.
horrible. And then the OCs went away. And when you're dope
Yep.
sick and you're sitting on the ground in a fetal position, you know, doing the
Yep.
thing, going through it,
Yep.
another friend, or
Uh-huh.
at the time you thought was a friend, was like, "Hey, well, do you want to try this? It's a get well." Well, what's a get well? Just here, smoke this. So the foil comes out, some brown stuff goes on the foil, and you smoke it through the little hooter, and that was my introduction to
Yep.
heroin.
Yep. Yep. Get well.
Yep,
Mm.
got to get well.
Yeah, man. When you're going through it like that, I've talked about that because I shared my story. Those the first few episodes. It's tough because $20, man, will
Yeah,
fix that.
right,
And if you have the money and you're trying to kick it, because I tried to kick it a few times, and I'd lay in my apartment, man, and just do all the things, and you got the heebie-jeebies, and you just like you feel sick, and I'm like, I know that I can feel completely better
right.
with just one thing,
Yep,
if I got $20. And then when like they started making the fake oxys, that's just fentanyl, but they try to act like it's
yeah,
perk 30s or whatever.
right,
Like those are like $1 now a pill, or $2 a pill, or
right.
something
Yeah,
stupid. It's ridiculous. So no, I got you. It's tough, man, and that's how we end up doing things. Like heroin, because that seems like a much better option at the time than how you feel. So, all right, keep going. See, you got heroin for the first time you smoked it,
Yep, smoked it.
and now oxys are done because
Yeah,
they got completely taken off the market,
right,
and here we are.
right. Well, I remember right before it was taken, or right when it was taken off the market, I still had
Yep.
a plug that could get
Uh-huh.
them, and I was paying $100 a pill for those OC80s. You
Well,
know, we used to call them beans, if you remember.
yep. Yeah.
So I
That's
could remember
crazy,
blowing
dude.
through
Yeah.
thousands and thousands of dollars,
Yeah. It was
tens of
like 80 to
thousands.
$100 a pill. I remember that. And it's just like what you would spend on it. I would take I would take a chunk of money, man, and just get a bag full of them.
Right,
And it's not like you even really got that great of a deal in larger quantity, but you knew that if somebody could get them, like you had to get them while they were around.
right.
Those things were not cool. But yeah, once I got pulled off the market, man, it got super
It was
expensive.
horrible.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. So
So,
keep going on
uh,
that, man.
well, I want to back up 1 second. I was living with
Yep.
my grandparents at the time, and
Okay.
how I paid for that tail end of my Oxycontin addiction
Uh,
was I stole from my grandparents who I was living with.
yeah.
And they had a canister with 20 gold Krugerrands in it. So
Man.
I would take those gold coins to the um, Bellevue Rare Coins and sell them. And at the
Yep.
time, they were $2,400 a coin.
Oh my goodness.
So every day I'd take one coin in, get 2,400 bucks, call the guy up, buy 10 OCs for $1,000.
Dang.
And,
Every day.
until
Yeah.
those gold coins were gone.
Yeah.
So, obviously the dirtbaggish behavior that I'm doing, I'm not proud of, but the
Right.
lengths of things that I would do just to get well
Yeah.
is unacceptable.
Yeah, man.
So,
I'm right there with you.
right.
I understand. Yeah.
So, now we fast forward, I'm on heroin. And then I was introduced to meth on probably
Yeah.
a day that there was no heroin around.
Right.
Here,
You
try
needed
this.
something.
It'll make you feel better. Smoke it on
Right.
foil. And
Yeah.
then now I'm smoking heroin and meth round the clock, just round the clock.
Uh,
I'm sucked up, probably 130 pounds. There's sores all over my face.
oh,
It,
dang. How
it
tall are
looked
you?
like death.
How tall are you?
6 foot.
You're 6 foot, a buck 30.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's sucked up.
Yep.
Yep. All right.
And just looking like a zombie.
Yep.
And
Yep.
most of the time non-coherent. But I'd still
That's
show up
right.
for work. I'd work. And in hindsight, I have a huge regret about coming to work in that condition because I was a liability to everybody at my job.
Absolutely. Yep.
Huge
Yep.
liability. And I thought obviously nobody knew, but everybody knew. Everybody
Yeah.
knew just by
Yeah.
looking at you, you look like a tweaker. And
It's funny how we think we can get away with that stuff, right?
right.
We're
Yep.
like, I'm fine.
Yep.
I remember when a friend showed up to a house. I was living with this girl. I was like 19, and I started doing meth with her because she did meth, and I didn't realize how bad I'd got. And he showed up to the door, knocks on the door, and he looks right at me. He's like, "Bro, you look like," and fill in the blank with what he said, and that made me finally look in the mirror and go, "Oh, dude,
Yeah.
I'm the same height as you, and I was probably down to about a buck 20, buck 30. It's just skinny. I'm wearing like a tank top. Like, why are you even
Yeah.
doing that, man?
Right.
You're just, and you think strangely that you look all right, but you're not seeing yourself the way other people are. All right, so you're going into work. You're a liability. You're twacking. You're
Yep.
Twacky McTwackerson on the
Right.
job,
Yep.
and then what happens?
I get to a point where I'm finally going to be registered in the union, which is the final step to where you're a full-fledged union member with benefits.
Wow,
And at this time, we're probably 17 years into this career.
dang,
It took me
you worked
17
for them
years
for a
to
long
make
time.
a full-fledged, union member. And in
Yeah.
order to do that, you have to take a drug test.
Ooh, okay.
So I get a letter in the mail and it gives you 30 days, right?
Well,
They give you 30 days to prepare. Hey, on this date, you need to go take
that's
a
a pretty
drug
solid
test.
heads up, man.
Yep.
You're like,
Right.
thank you. Okay. Yep.
And I can remember before I'd ever done drugs in my entire life, when I'm working in this industry, that's all I ever wanted to do was do this job, right?
Mhm.
And now, 17 years later, I had anticipated what the feeling would be like when I got the letter in the mail, right? That it's going to be joy, elation. It's the best thing in the
Right.
world, like
It's
winning
what
the
you've been
lottery,
waiting for.
right?
Yep.
And when the letter showed up, I was terrified, scared, didn't know
Mm,
how I was going to do it, and it was the worst feeling I've probably ever had to go through because I didn't know how I was
mhm.
going to quit. I couldn't.
Right.
I tried stopping just like everybody else. Try to reduce the
Yep.
amount that I'm using. That doesn't work.
Yep.
And it was a terrifying ordeal.
Yeah, and you got to stop for at least 3 to 4 days, man, to get opiates and meth out of your system. And 3 to 4 days on those two drugs without a detox feels like an eternity.
Right.
Feels like impossible. So I get it. Yeah, I
Yep.
totally get it. Yep.
So ultimately, I didn't take the test.
Wow.
And a couple weeks later, I show up to the union with a doctor's note with some BS excuse of why I couldn't take it.
Yeah.
And the union officials are all sitting around the desk and they look at me and they're like, no, this letter's null and void. You are a drug addict. What?
Wow.
I'm a drug addict? And they're like, you need to go get help. So we
Okay.
have this program. You need to go talk to so-and-so. And the program outlines 4 stipulations in order for you to get your job back.
Okay.
And, in my polluted state, I'm like, I'm not a drug addict. I just couldn't take the test
You're
because
fine.
of this excuse.
Exactly. Yep.
So even though that should have been my bottom, it wasn't. I continued using for 2 more months. And then I finally got locked up.
Okay.
So I had several outstanding warrants for things that I didn't take care of in my past. Because when you're in that state, you don't care. Just come get me,
Hey,
find me.
I'm not going to court.
Yeah,
It's
no, I'm not doing that.
eventually it's gonna come to a head, but
Right.
it's not gonna be by me turning myself in. Right.
Yeah.
Yep.
Right. And the reason I
Gotcha.
got picked up is because I put hands on my girl.
Uh,
So
yeah,
the
that'll
police
do it.
showed up and I tried to run. I got away for a short minute. I'm hiding in the bushes, but they ultimately found me,
Yeah.
And then I got transferred from jail to jail to jail to jail to get in front of all these judges for these 5 open warrants. And while I was I remember before I'd been picked up, my girlfriend at the time said she had a friend whose husband went through the Salvation Army.
Okay.
And so she'd been saying that he had 10 years. He's very successful. This program's really good. And then she explains that it's a 6-month program. And I'm like, 6-month program? I'm not doing
Not
a
gonna happen.
6-month program. I can go to jail and just do it that way.
Right.
So
Yep.
once I'm in jail and I'm being transferred around from jail to jail to jail, it's forced sobriety. Well, then their
Right.
head starts clearing. And so I start thinking back on what she said, the Salvation Army will take you and you don't need insurance and it's a God-centered program. So I'm like, maybe this will get me out of jail.
Right.
So I asked my public pretender, hey man, can you see if the Salvation Army has any open beds? And right then and there, he pulls his laptop out, starts clicking on some keys. Yep, they got a bed available. Oh, well, can I go there? Yeah, we'll talk to the judge tomorrow.
Okay.
So the judge lets me out. She picks me up and drives me straight to the Salvation Army.
Okay.
And
Wow.
yeah, I did. I finished the 6-month program. I stayed 9 months.
Yeah.
And I moved into clean and sober living afterwards.
Okay.
Lived there for a little while. Then I moved back home with her. We stayed at that location until we bought this house.
Oh man. So there was a couple different things. Like it's funny how things can be falling apart. You got your dream job, right? That you've always wanted. You
Right.
finally get the opportunity to become a union member, and I know what you do, and I know it's a huge industry up in Seattle, and it's like on the scale of what union jobs people would want, that's at the top of what people are trying to do. That's the pinnacle uh, with what you do. So to finally get there, but then still not even be able to slow down to pass that test, it's kind of incredible, man. I had lots of things like that happen where it didn't matter what was going on. It didn't matter the wake that I left of disaster behind what my kids had to deal with me being an addict, and like, dad's okay, now he's not, now he's okay, now he's not, now we're moving here, now, and none of that could get me to stop. None of the job stuff, even though like I was on the brink of losing a job where I'd been there for a really long time because of same things, man. Tried to bring a fake doctor's note for missing time and kind of got caught. And it was like I ended up fighting back with the whole like HIPAA thing. How'd you even really find out? I made a big stink and barely kept my job, but I tried a lot to lose jobs and all that kind of stuff, but that never got me that never did it. I was so prideful, so in denial, that I seriously thought that I didn't have a problem. When I showed up to the Salvation Army, I didn't think I had a problem. I thought I had a problem with the fact that I was wanted in another state and I had lost my job and I really didn't have anywhere to go.
Right.
But even though that had happened, I looked at everybody else and I thought I was a different kind of addict when I first got there.
100%.
And it took some time for me to come along. So
Right.
talk about that
Well,
process, man. I
knowing
think
your
it's
story,
awesome.
you
Yeah.
and I, like you said, are kindred spirits. Because I
Right.
can
Yep.
remember the whole reason of wanting to go to the Salvation Army was just to get me out of jail. Right.
Yeah.
So
Right.
I get there
I
and
was
I'm
trying to get out of
thinking,
my warrant.
yeah,
Yep.
right. I'm
Yep.
thinking I'm
Yep.
going to go here. I'll just do 30 days, just like all the other programs I've been to, and I'll be good. It's
Yep.
no big deal. I'll just do 30 days. So
Yep.
I get there, and like you, I don't feel like I'm like these people. I'm
No.
nothing
Yeah.
like these people over here.
I'm not like Bob over there in the
No,
corner, man.
right?
No. Yeah.
Yeah,
Exactly. Yep.
and ev-
Oh.
eventually, I mean, it's not eventually. It took probably 5 months before it stuck in. But I'd always set myself a new goal. I'll make it 30 days. I'll make it 45 days. I'll make it 60. And throughout the whole thing, I mean, I literally hated the program because I was trying to be defiant and not accepting. I wasn't surrendering, and I was fighting it the
Yep.
whole way. Instead of just accepting what they're telling me, I'd try to fight it and do it my own way. Well, my own way got me into this position,
Absolutely.
right?
Yep.
So it
Yep.
was funny thinking back on it now. The people that have been running this program for the last 150 years probably know more about this than I do,
Nah.
right?
Yeah. Yeah. Me
So,
too. Yeah. Yep.
so
Yep.
yeah, it probably took till month 5 until I actually got it and started applying myself. And then, I graduated the program, stayed the extra 3 months, and then that location closed and they moved up to Greenwood. Well,
Yeah. I remember that.
from that point on, I I made it basically my mission to give back because this program literally saved my life. It gave me everything that I wanted. I reconnected with God, rekindled my relationship with Jesus, and it gave me everything that it was missing. That hole that I was trying to fill inside my chest
Mm-hmm.
with drugs,
Yep.
alcohol, women, and all these negative things was
Yep.
finally closed.
That's
Right.
awesome.
So
Yeah.
I
Mm.
then COVID came around. Remember?
Oh yeah.
So during
Yep.
COVID,
I remember.
right, I volunteered that entire 2 years to the Salvation Army because I was still fighting trying to get my job back. So I turned in paperwork and letters from the Salvation Army of,
Mm-hmm.
completing the program, having a year clean, having a job outside of the union there's all these
Mm-hmm.
stipulations, right? So I completed all those programs, but the union wasn't quite ready to have me come back, or I believe it was God saying I needed some more time under my belt before I get this job back.
Yeah. God knows what he's doing, right?
Yep.
Yep.
So
Yep.
I didn't immediately get my job back. It took a long time. So since I'm not working, I literally donated all of my time to the Salvation Army.
Man, that's pretty incredible. And I've learned, man, that that's where it's at right there. It's if you want to know the secret, like, God saves your life, puts you in a program that eventually you come around at 5 months, and you said it literally saved your life. And what's kept you going, what's kept you alive, is just continuing to give back and pour into the same thing, and stay at the same place where God freed you. And I talked to my brother. He shared his testimony, and we were talking through that. And that's kind of what happened to him. He realized, man, I need to stay where everything changed. And that's why he went back there and started working there, and trying to help, get guys in for intakes and stuff like that. And that's what's different for me this time. When I went through the program, they, for a little while, I taught their 12-step class on Friday nights, and I was doing okay for a little bit. And then everything in my life became about a relationship. And all of a sudden it's like, well, I can't make it this one Friday night. I've got this going on or that going on. And as I slowly pulled away from everything that had helped me get to where I got,
Right.
it was just a matter of time, man.
Right.
It's just a matter of time before I ended up going to the dentist and didn't tell them that I had a problem with opiates. Let them prescribe me Vicodin, and boom,
Yeah.
there it is.
Yeah.
And it didn't epically go off the rails right then. It was like, well, now I drank, right, but not every day. And then uh, did meth with this new girlfriend. It's like, but only for 5 days, and then we stopped. It
Right.
was like this
Yeah.
justifying, like, I guess I'm not like I used to be. I'm not doing it every day, but it literally was just. It's always just a matter of time before that happened. So, I mean, I think that's really cool. I think it's awesome that you could have done a lot of other things during COVID, man. You could have been mad that the job wasn't working out the way that you wanted it to. You could have, tried to figure something else out. A lot of people like myself, I had the worst relapse in the history of relapses during COVID, because no community, nobody was going anywhere, but you served, and I think that's incredible, and that's what got you through it. So
I'm telling
after
you.
that,
Yeah.
what's that?
I was gonna say, that COVID for me, I had
Hmm.
the most fun. It was the most exciting, fun experience that I've ever had
Really?
because we were giving away food boxes to in need families all over the state.
Man, that's
So
so
we'd
cool.
have several volunteers come in, we'd pack these boxes, and we would literally drive all over the state all during COVID. I had the most fun because it's service work.
Yeah, man, you're just dropping off food. People are happy, and you're being able to help people. And I remember seeing you post some stuff on Facebook, man, where you were loading up these trucks. I didn't know exactly what was going on, but
Yeah.
I'm like, man, this guy's getting it. He's out there helping and serving, and knowing that you were still struggling, obviously, to get a job back, but instead you just gave of your time. That's really
It
cool,
was
man.
an
Good for
amazing
you.
experience that I wouldn't trade for anything.
That's so cool, man. I'm
Right.
sure that helped, and that God orchestrated that, because being able to do that prepared you, got you ready to where once your job got back in line, you're
Yeah.
going to get married, buy a house, and all that stuff.
Right.
You're at that right spot, because I've rushed it a lot, man, and tried to move things forward at my own pace. And anytime I've done that, it's ended up in trouble. But when you sit back and you wait and you let God just truly, like Romans 8:28 says, work all things together for the good of those who love him and are called according to his purpose, you can start to see that be laid out in your life. Well, man, that's really cool, and that's super inspiring. And I remember that our stories were pretty dead on, man.
Yeah. Right.
Same things that got a hold in us.
Yeah.
And I thank God for the arrests. I thank God for the things that seemed like epic disasters at the time. That I thank God for me, I had to strip everything away from me, to where finally the only option I had was to repent and
Right.
turn towards
Yeah.
him and start
Right.
walking that way, man. And so it sounds like that's what happened for you, and that's what you're doing. Are you guys still going to the Salvation Army? What do you do now as far as that's concerned? I know you're still involved with the program, right? The ARC today,
So I go
or
up there every
ARP
once in a
is what
while.
it's called.
Honestly, I haven't been up there in a while because our busy season is now. That I know it's an
Right.
excuse, but currently the sober support group that I hang out with the most, we just do events together sober a lot.
Okay. That's cool, man.
Right.
Cool. What kind of stuff do you guys do?
Normally it's UFC events.
Oh yeah,
So I'll
you guys
invite
go to
everybody over to the
fight nights and
house.
stuff like that.
Oh man, we
Uh,
eat like kings. There's just too much food. And
yeah,
we'll sit out underneath my pergola in the backyard. There's a TV out there, and we watch the fights. And it's more about fellowship, right? We're not like zoned into the TV, so we'll be talking amongst ourselves until someone screams, "Oh!" and then we all look at the TV and see what happened.
yeah.
Watch the replay.
That's
So it's more about fellowship and eating.
yeah,
A big
yeah.
part of my recovery now is eating, which is why I'm
Oh
not
yeah.
185 pounds anymore.
That's funny, man. I got, as you know, I got married in November, right? And I got down to 205 for the wedding. Bought a suit, ready to go, and I'm about to put that suit on again this weekend. And then again in a couple weeks, 'cause I'm going to be up in Seattle for my son's graduation. And about 2, 3 months ago, I'm like, dude, I'm 230. Literally in like 4 months from when I got married, I'm like, I've gained 20,
Right.
25 pounds.
Yeah.
And so I've had to eliminate all things that are good, and, and start going to the
Yeah.
gym. And
Yeah.
carbs have not been my friend, but I
Right.
tried the suit on last night, and I'm like, all right, man,
Oh.
still fits. I don't have to go buy another one.
Yeah.
And level up, and not in a way that
Yeah.
I want to. But
Right.
it was it's an easy thing to do, man. And the older you get, like, I used to be able, as long as I went to the gym a couple days a week, I could kind of eat whatever I wanted, and I'm not, going to be a supermodel or anything, but I didn't care about that. I just
Yeah.
didn't want to gain any weight. I'm good.
Right.
Now it's so much diet. It's like I could go to the gym every day, but if I don't eat, it doesn't
Yeah.
matter, man.
Right.
Being 45 is super fun, and I'm sure it just gets better as we get
Yeah.
older.
Right.
Um, Cool, man. Well, I'm gonna do something because we're gonna talk about something at the end of the episode, and we're already about 40 minutes deep. So normally, at the end of every episode, I share the gospel with people that are listening, and I think that as I listen to your story, it's similar to mine, man. I named the show Redeemed and Restored because as I was studying the word and studying the word redeemed and the Hebrew and the Greek and all that, I was going through, read hundreds of verses on redeem, redeemed, redeems, anything that's in there. And there's two different kind of definitions of it, but Isaiah is my favorite book in the Bible. And on top of it, meaning that obviously Jesus took our place, ransomed us, literally redeemed us by being a substitute for all of our sin and all the things that we did. It means that, definitely means that. It also talks about, and I read this in the commentary in my ESV Bible on Isaiah 41. It said that God rescues his people and provides an environment for their faithfulness to him to flourish.
Amen.
And then restored, the gospel of Jesus Christ is restorative. 2 Corinthians 5:17 says that if anyone is in Christ, they're a new creation. The old is gone, the new is here. And the combination, now that I look back, man, and I look at like how God made a way where there was absolutely no way. And just like the children of Israel in Egypt that he rescued and, brought them out of slavery, eventually into the promised land, I feel like God has rescued me and now provided an environment where my faithfulness to him can flourish, one that I don't deserve, an incredible wife that I don't deserve, a
Amen.
life that I
Right.
don't deserve, and I should be dead or in jail, but God has me here, for a purpose. And so I heard that all through your story, man. God rescued you from
Mhm.
your sin. He rescued you from your addiction, from whether it was alcohol, cocaine, meth, whatever it
Right.
was, man. For him to orchestrate it in a way to where now you can go back into the same place that rescued you and help people and show people that hope is possible, and you can just be a glimmer of hope. You've been that for me, as I watched you do
Appreciate
that
that.
in 2020, and I was getting high.
Yeah.
And I got to a point then where I never thought I was going to be sober a day again in my life, man. I was so stuck on that needle. It was like I would beg God for a miracle and wanted to believe that it would happen, but deep down on the inside, I'm like, I'm going to be stuck like this until I die, right? And
Yep.
and God rescued me. And so he can do that. He did that for you. He did that for me, and he can do that for anybody out there. Revelation 19:10, the second half of it says that the testimony of Jesus is the spirit of prophecy, which means that if he did it for me, he can do it for you. If he did it for Jason, he can do it for you. And I just want to share with people that it's possible, to be rescued from what's going on. It doesn't matter how bad it's gotten. It looks hopeless. From two guys who have been at the very bottom looking up, thinking that there's absolutely no way, God made a way. Well, there was absolutely no way. And when you call on the name of the Lord, he will rescue you. Romans 10:13 says that when you call on the name of the Lord, you will be saved. Right after in Romans 10:9, it says that all you have to do to be saved is confess with your mouth that Jesus is Lord and believe in your heart God raised him from the dead, and you will be saved. So if that's you, if Jason's story resonated with you and you just decided to finally turn, repent, and go the other way, have a change of heart, change of mind where you're done and you're ready to start a new life, and maybe you need help, maybe you think you might need to jump into a program. He's well versed in the Salvation Army programs and others. I'm sure I've been about to every Christian discipleship rehab program that you can possibly
Yeah.
go to.
Yeah.
So if you need help and you just don't know how, you don't know where, you don't know what you need to do to figure that out, I want to be a resource for you. Email the show, redeemed and restored podcast at gmail.com. And yeah, just I'll look at all that stuff. I'll reach back out and I will do whatever I can with the resources that are within my disposal and people that I know to help connect you and get you help. Because sometimes, even after you've decided to turn your life over to Christ, if you have an addiction that has just just eaten at you for I was addicted to drugs and alcohol for 30 plus years. I needed time, man. I don't know about you. That 6 months, I'm sure, was probably pretty nice for me. I needed time, and so sometimes you just need time. You just need to be around people that care about you, that want to mentor you, that want to walk alongside you, that have had the same struggles as you. So if that's you, um, Jason and I know this because I know him well, that we both want to see you get help. We want to see you live long, healthy, uh,
Successful,
God-fearing
productive lives.
lives, successful, productive lives, man. And we've both seen so many people that have had so much potential where that has not been possible, and that's not been the case because it can take you at any time. So if that's you, please email the show, redeemedandrestoredpodcast@gmail.com. And I'm going to turn the floor over to you, man, because you've got as much time as you want to take. We talked about doing this, and we recorded today. May 15th, I believe, is your brother's birthday, correct?
That's right.
And I'm just going to let you share his story, man. Share with people who he was, what he meant, and we want to honor him on this day. He served our country, and he's a great brother to you for a long time, but some stuff happened. So I'm going to let you share, and then when we're all done, man, we'll wrap up and we'll pray. But the floor is yours, my
All
friend.
right,
Go
brother.
right
Thanks.
ahead, bro.
Yeah,
Yep.
so my brother Shawn was born May 15th, 1982 in Camp Hamilton, California. And like I said, we had a great childhood. Our parents provided. We had dirt bikes and ATVs, four-wheel. We had a great, fantastic childhood. Loved my brother to death. And after he graduated high school, he joined the Marine Corps like my dad and was a
Mm-hmm.
Marine. He got into an elite unit called HMX-1, which
Oh, wow.
was the presidential helicopters. So he was one of the guys that you see, out there.
Oh, really? Wow.
And then
That's cool.
after that, he was in Quantico, which was the, I believe, FBI training facility. So,
Okay.
which is also a
Yeah.
Marine Corps base.
Yep. That
So,
sounds right to me.
yeah, after he had some things happen to him here in the States that were tragic and unfortunate within the military. And when he came back, he tried to get a job, went to the Divers Institute of Technology, got his little diving certificate, got a job traveling around the country, fishing golf balls out of ponds at golf courses for this diving company. And along the
Heck yeah,
way,
man.
he meets his wife. They're married for several years. Well, unfortunately for my brother, he was still stuck in his addiction of alcoholism and addiction. And he did the best that he could with the VA and being medicated. And there came a point where he was diagnosed with schizophrenia. And from that point on, he couldn't work anymore because of the things that he was having and hearing inside of his head. And I think
Yeah,
that
that's
only
tough.
exacerbated his addiction problem. So uh, on April 5th, 2 years ago, my brother got what he thought was a perk 30, and it ended up being fentanyl. And, he was found with foil and some scorch marks and a pill on his bed when he had passed. And my belief is that he got so high that God said, well, while you're here, why don't you just stay?
Why don't you
Right?
just stay?
Why don't you
Yeah.
just stay up here?
Yeah.
I got you. And so
Yeah.
my brother passed and he was ripped from my life. And it was
Man, I'm
the
sorry.
pain that's associated with that is like no other.
Yeah.
It's not like someone who you can go say goodbye to because you know that they're passing from cancer or whatever, which is also brutal.
Yeah.
But he was
Right.
ripped from my life without me able to telling him or showing him the way.
Yeah.
So I miss him every day. And that's why I wanted to do this podcast with you today, is just to celebrate my brother. Cause, for all the things that he potentially had failed at, he's my little brother. I love him to death. I miss him terribly, but
Yeah.
I don't want to end up like that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Man, first of all, obviously, my condolences. That is a tough thing to go through, a tough thing to experience. Like you said, it doesn't make death easier when you can go say your goodbyes, but at least you feel like, that was a possibility. And when that is taken away from you and just suddenly somebody that you don't expect to have that happen, it's terrible. And that's why this addiction, by drugs and all of it just sucks, man. It just sucks. And fentanyl that's out there today, like you said, he thought that he had a perk 30 because that's what they make them look like.
Right.
The little blue ones,
Yep.
with the M stamped on the front, the
Right.
30 on the back. And now they're making them in rainbow colors because they're trying to, I don't know, promote them to the children.
Yeah.
and it
Skittles.
gets strong. Yeah, it's stupid, man. It gets stronger and stronger, and one hit of it can have a bigger chunk of fentanyl than another hit of it, and it can take, anybody. Like the tip of some of the fentanyl that's out now, man, just the tip of your pinky, like the smallest amount,
Right.
and you can be done. I
Yeah.
have I have OD'd, and I have woken up after being non-responsive for 15 minutes in an ambulance, where then the ambulance driver looked at me and said, "God's not done with you," and I'm like, "What?"
Right.
Dude,
Yeah.
like, and I don't know why God's not done with me. All I know is that now that He's saved me, I just want to help as many people as possible with my story, with your
Right.
story, with your brother's
Right.
story,
Yeah.
because,
That's your
you
purpose
know,
now.
yeah, that's it, man.
Someone put a
I
hand
just,
out to help me out of the ditch, and that's what you're doing for the rest of us. So I appreciate you, brother.
hey, yeah, man, you too, bro. Like, seriously, I've seen you from a distance, and we've checked in every once in a while. You connected me with me after I got out of the Dream Center. I even talked about doing this back then, and then, I relapsed a couple times since, but it took what it took to finally get to the point where now I'm like, man, I'm done. And all I can think about is I hope that what I've gone through helps somebody else. I hope that what you've gone through can help somebody else. And that's what we pray, man. And if anybody's out there and they're again stuck in that cycle of addiction, we don't want to see the same thing happen to you. We don't want to see you get the wrong batch. We don't
Right.
want to
There's a
see
way
you.
out. There is a way out.
There is.
And
There
the
is,
life
man.
that I live today is nothing what I imagined in my addiction or even when I was in the Salvation Army. You have this big idea and plan of what you want your life to look like. And I have these goals that I want to attain. Well,
Yeah.
when you give it to God, it's so much more than I could have ever imagined.
That's so cool,
What
man.
I wanted is way down
Yeah.
here. What he gave me is next
Yep.
level.
I know. I'm right there with you, bro. It's like I remember because when you're in those programs, maybe if you're like me, and it would sound like we're a lot alike. You lay on your bunk or whatever, man, and you don't have TV, you don't have a phone, and I would read, but you kind of lay there and you're looking up, and you're thinking, and you have this vision of what's going to happen, and I would like to try and positively think about where my
Right.
life was
Yeah.
going, but I couldn't even imagine the life that God has given me today. There, and I was at the bottom of the bottom. You shared where you were like so strung out on meth, man. You're a $1.20 soaking wet,
Yeah.
$1.30 soaking
Right.
wet. Your face is all pockmarked from
Yep.
all from all
Yeah.
the
Open
meth, and
sores, nasty, looking like
it's
death.
just that stuff just leaks out of your body. Just it's disgusting, and you keep doing it, right? And there's no way. I remember at the worst times, man, where I just thought there was absolutely no way that I was ever going to even get a day sober. But to think,
Right.
man, that I'm coming up on 2 years,
Right.
that you're coming up on 7 years, is only a testament to what can happen when we fully surrender our lives to God, when we fully surrender our lives to Christ, turn our will and our lives over to the care of God. That is the only way. And it can happen for anybody. Like you said, man, there is a way, and him and I know a few of those places that you can go. So again, the email redeemed and restored podcast at gmail.com. Please, 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 if you're struggling, email me, and
We'll get you dialed
Jason
in.
may be somebody that I call,
Yep.
to try and get you dialed in, depending on where you live. So, all right, man, thank you so much for hanging out with
Yeah.
me.
Welcome, brother.
And I'm going to pray for people out there real quick, and then we'll end this. God, we just thank you for this time today. God, we thank you for Jason and his story. And we thank you for him being able to hop on here and share and honor his brother. God, we just thank you for all of it. We just pray that it lands on the ears and the hearts that it's supposed to land on. God, we put that in your hands. We pray for anybody who's out there who's struggling, who's now made a decision to follow Jesus. I just pray that you surround them with the right people to help disciple them. If it's a program, put that program in their path, God, whatever it needs to happen for them to turn towards you, repent, and go the other way, God. We just pray for that right now. We thank you for everything you've done in both of our lives, and we thank you for all that in Jesus' name. Amen.
Amen.
All right, man. Again, thanks for hanging out. Thank you guys for hanging out with us. It's been awesome, and God bless you.